Hello, everybody, and welcome to Synth Talk. My name is Ed Diaz, and today we're going to be covering a lot of fun stuff on Synth Talk. Just a quick shout out to Scott Berry, who's having some technical difficulty.
I'm
with
here,
the internet,
but only
so we're gonna
in
get
spirit. I am here. Yeah, camera
Wow, this is really
issues,
awkward.
internet issues, but audio's coming through. So, hi everybody. Just imagine me in your minds.
Wow, this is like that little person in my head that tells me not to do things, and I still ignore them because life would be boring. But anyway, so Scott is here. He's here in spirit, as we say. Yeah, and so we're gonna get him going. So, like I said, Scott's gonna be interjecting. You know, we shout out to our producer, Gabe, in the background, and shout out to Dwayne monitoring the questions on YouTube and Facebook. So we are going to get to a lot of you guys today. So just shout out. I see ZT Audio on there. I see Marktronics, hashtag give it a wiggle. Enzo, I see Robin Spears. I say Andre, you know. So hello, everybody. So let's get going on this. So today we are going to be talking about... And John Sweeney, what's up, dude? So today we're going to be talking about how to use a Roland ZENOLOGY Pro with the Roland hardware keyboards that have the ZEN-Core engine in there. Right, Scott? That's what we're going to be working on today.
That is correct. Yeah, we were going over some of this again this morning, which is really cool because it's always nice to refresh right before. And it's so cool the way that everything seems to, the way everything does work and is compatible is pretty awesome.
I'm going to have to find a picture of Scott Berry real quick. No. I know I have pictures of Scott Berry. I wasn't prepared for this, but we'll see. If there's a low, I'm going to find a quick picture. Something kind of embarrassing for Scott. Oh, wait. I got everybody covered. So, Scott, when you speak, maybe I can have something like this thrown up there, Scott. When Scott speaks...
There it is.
I'm going to have that. I'm going to open it up correctly. My boss is probably like, Ed, stop it. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So, all right, so let's kind of have some fun. First off, let's go ahead and go to Roland Cloud and take a look of what it offers there for you, for those of you that are not familiar. So I just went to opened up my account, and you can go to www.rolandcloud.com, and then you can sign up for a free account, and then you can see the different memberships here, okay? So we have the core membership, and you'll see it, and I'll show you where it says core in my membership, or pro, or ultimate. So three different ones. You have monthly prices, and these are changed to according to where you are in the world, and then you also have a yearly membership. So you have a lot of different options.
And if you're new to Roland Cloud, I mean, sign up for a free account because you wind up with like the ultimate version for 30 days to check it out. So it's a really good opportunity, especially with the stuff that we're going to go through today with the ZENOLOGY Pro, of what you can have and the integrations, especially if you own a FANTOM or any of the ZEN-Core products.
Yep. And I see I saw Ratnamala, I saw you on YouTube. We already talked about it, and I'm going to show you how to, we are going to discuss how to load in these different ZENOLOGY tones back into the FANTOM, and we are going to make some subsequent videos on how to do them to FANTOM, Jupiter X, XM, X Edge, RD88. So let's go back to here, and we're going to get to that. I did see your question. So, okay, so let's see, we have this. So we go to Roland Cloud, and we can look at... well, right now they are having a special. I think it is a special right now where you can get the ZENOLOGY Pro and all the analog models in there. I just want to mention this to everybody in there so you know that this is available for you. So if you wanted to get a lifetime key for ZENOLOGY Pro, it would be $229. You have the different models, expansions for the JX8P Juno 106, Jupiter 8, SH101, and each one of those is $150. Total can be $825.
And again, think about it. You own it at that point. I mean, you can either be part of the subscription and get all this stuff for a low price a month, or if you want, you can just buy it straight outright, which a lot of people opt to do. I'd rather just own it than pay monthly for it. So these are the options, which are really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just going to show you guys what's available if you haven't been on here. So this is what we're going to cover, but I will cover also some of the model expansions in there because we do deal with Jupiter X and XM. So, all right, so that is available. All right, so now let's go into the software section so you can see what's included with Zenology. So what you can get. If you look at my screen, I have the Pro version, and if I had wanted to, I can come over here and purchase the lifetime key. Just so you know, that is available for you if you just wanted to do it that way. So if we look in here, you're going to find out it's going to tell you about Zenology Pro, and you guys can follow this on your own later. So this is cool. And once we're in Zenology, I can go back up here to the top of the Roland Cloud and hit there, and you can see everything that is available for Zenology Pro. So the Zenology Pro has a full ZEN-Core engine, but if you take a look, you also have available the different model expansions from the Juno 106, Jupiter 8, JX8P, and the SH101, which we will go into, so just stand by. Also, you can go ahead and I think it's free, or it's part of the core. It's part of the core package. So when you sign up for the core package, you get access and able to download and use in your different ZEN-Core keyboards products, the MC101 and 707 as well. You can go ahead and get up to 15 of these EXZs wave expansion boards. So these back in the day, they used to cost about $200 to $300 each, and easy, totally. And every time you use one of these, it's your keyboard was a completely different instrument. It was just like, oh wow, it's brand new again. So
the thing is, it wasn't just new sounds. I mean, it was new waveforms. It was bringing in a whole new base point, meaning that the sample point, the waveform came in, which is new, and it's doing it again here in the EXZs or EXZs, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
So you get all that coming in, all that information. It's really nice to be able to just have it instantly than to order it and wait for this piece of hardware to come in and then try to install it.
Absolutely.
Technology.
Technology is awesome. And then also you have the ability, you have some different sound packs available. And currently, as of today, I think as of right now, I believe there's about, 36? Is it 36? 38 sound packs. There's a lot. Our designers, our sound designers all over the world have been very busy in this time coming up with new sound packs that you can purchase for a small fee. And like literally a super small fee, you get a bunch of sounds in there that you can use inside your ZEN-Core compatible instruments. So, all right, so let's get there. Let's see here. Let's answer a couple of questions. Ratnamala, I do see your question. We're going to get you squared away. Let me see a couple here. Scott, can you see the questions as well?
Yeah, I can see some that are sitting here. Steve Barney has one where he would like to see Zenology Pro map the filter and the ADSRs directly to the FANTOM. So the FANTOM knobs that are on board. Is that something that could happen in the future? Could be.
Could be. We'll work on that, and that could be another thing.
And the other thing too is that you could assign the knob. So like in the FANTOM, we'll just say it like this. Under pan and level, which is right above the master volume, you have an assign 1 and assign 2, and you could easily assign those. We could at least try that. So
yeah,
there are workarounds.
So all right, so let's get in there and let's see. Another gentleman says, Ritzo, and I'll read this question. Ritzo says, have used a couple of months Roland Cloud, and those classic synths are amazing. They actually really are. Okay, so
it's Risto. He's actually, I know him personally. In fact, I did a track with him recently.
Oh, sorry. You're done talking? All right.
Yeah.
I just love putting this picture up there. I think it's awesome. All right. You think it's awesome. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to open up Logic and get started with this. I just wanted to go ahead and get you guys going, know where I'm finding some of this information, and let you know some of the deals and some of the things that are available for you and also for Zenology and also your ZEN-Core compatible instruments. So, all right, now we are starting to dig in. Okay, so I just opened up Logic right now. We're going to start here, and we're going to start an empty project. I also I'm going to be using my FANTOM as the controller for Logic. So that's what we're using. So just so you guys know, if we take a look at Logic on my input and output device, I am using the FANTOM as the input and output. So my FANTOM will be getting all of the audio to and from Logic. All right, here we go. So let's choose it. We're going to start off with a software instruments. I already have ZENOLOGY Pro selected, and we're going to open this library. Okay, so we're getting that going. Okay, while that's going, just once again, thank everybody for being here with us today. Scott's up in the cloud speaking.
I'm up in the clouds, yes.
Up in the clouds.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, and don't worry, we are going to get to, I see a bunch of questions, but our guy Dwayne is getting you guys all set, and we're going to get there. Okay, now it's loading up plugins on my Logic.
And I also have to tell you, it's a bummer with whatever the internet thing that I'm running into, because I look fantabulous today. I wish you guys could see this front camera. It just looks great. I look spectacular. Just imagine it.
Okay, on that note, let's get back to the show. Okay, so, all right, here we go. So we have ZEN-Core ZENOLOGY up here. I already have it preloaded. Let's go ahead and open it up. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and let me get rid of this part right there. All right, so when you first open up ZENOLOGY Pro, this is what you're going to see. And you're like, that's okay. So on this one right here, you see we have just some very simple things we can do. We can adjust, the overall level of the tone that we're using. We can adjust the cutoff, resonance, attack, release, vibrato, basic things. But what you're going to want to get into is into the right here. It says edit. This is where we're going to want to go, everybody, and this is going to get you going. So watch this. We're going to press edit, boom, and it pops open, and we get a very nice visual representation of the tones that we are working on. Okay, but before we go into that, I'm going to show you how do we choose tones. And remember, these are all ZEN-Core tones that live inside your Phantom, inside your Jupiter X, Jupiter XM, RD88, MC101, MC707, and Axe Edge. So that's where, there's a lot to go through there, Scott. I'm just trying to what? Okay, there's a lot of good compatible products.
Which is, again, it's absolutely amazing that Roland has chosen this direction to go. I love it because I can create something in ZENOLOGY Pro now and move it to any of those products. I can create something in a Phantom and move it into the Jupiter, or the Jupiter into the Phantom, or into the Axe Edge, and I can just move this all around. I mean, the ecosystem has gotten so powerful this way. Because before, I mean, you think about it, the keyboard was only compatible with itself, and that's it. And now we've gotten to a point to where it's much past that. I also see a question here, if you don't mind. Can I answer this question?
Go for it.
All right. So Brandon asks, he's like, he goes, I have a question about editing from initialized tones from the XV5080 and the ZEN-Core engines on the Jupiter X. The initialized tone is always a piano. How do you switch that? So because it's initializing, especially the XV5080 and even the ZEN-Core, it's going to default to a PCM-based engine. And the first sample that's available in that PCM engine is a piano.
Yeah.
So that's why it defaults. It just brings you down to 1. Unfortunately, there's no way to change that. But I will say this, I mean, using ZENOLOGY Pro, as we start to go into it, I think you'll start to see what Ed's going to show you is going to make it probably a little bit easier, or at least better visually to look at, to start to do your own sound design and to shape, and then just import it into the Jupiter X afterwards. Yep. This is an option.
Okay, so we're going to get into that, but first off, let's take a look at what we have here. Remember, for those of you that's joining, when you first open up ZENOLOGY, this is what you see. You press the edit button up here, and it pops open to this beautiful layout. All right, so within this layout, there's going to be 2 different views you can use. First one is this current one, which is called the Visual Edit. That's what this one is called, Visual Edit. As we get into more advanced settings, or you want to see a different way, you can go to Pro Edit. It's just a different way of looking at things. Does a lot of the same things, but actually, in my opinion, this is how I grew up editing, so this is usually where I go. So let's start here. If I wanted to, go ahead.
I was going to say, and they are a little bit different. I think there's some other things in the Pro that are a little bit deeper, but they both kind of get you in the same spot.
Absolutely. So, okay, so if we wanted to here, if we wanted to choose a sound, like start off with choosing sounds, we just go ahead and click on the sound, and this opens up the full sound bank of Zenology, everything that you have currently available. Okay, so first off, if you go over here on this side, you're going to see all sounds, and you're going to see the different preset factories, preset A, B through G. Also, if you have purchased the models, when we will go through these, you will see those synth models, Jupiter 8, 106, 8P, SH101. Also, you will see loaded into the Zenology Pro, if you've brought them in, you will see all the expansion boards, EXZ001 all the way up to 15. And then if you have purchased the SDZs, you will see those all the way from the 001 up to the current one of SDZ 036. And this is great. So this lets you know right away. And I believe, Scott, I think the ZEN-Core engine comes with over 3,500 sounds. And then once you start including these extra synth models and EXZs and the SDZs, you really get over well over 7,000. I think it's closer to 9. It's closer to 9,000.
It gets up there. And if you're a Phantom owner, the EXZs are part of the Phantom, so those will already, I think, be in your library. If you have a Jupiter X or some of the other things, those are purchased individually. Like Ed said, too, the SDZs, which are the sound packs, those are 99 cents a piece. They all show up in there, but it's like everything starts to go into one spot, and you can move things around. I mean, if you were traveling and had a little MIDI controller, you could be working on your sounds, and then when you get back home or wind up on stage, you could just pop everything into the hardware.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a listen to some of these. Okay, so I can go ahead and I can just, go like I'm on a keyboard, just to the individual banks. I can also go ahead and I can adjust them by name, so they're in alphabetical order if I want to. These are all ZEN-Core. If I want, I can go ahead and hit category, and I can adjust them by specific categories. If I also wanted to, I could say, let's go by rated stars. So very, very cool how you can kind of go into here and adjust everything.
I think being able to rate them as stars or keep them as favorites this way is highly important with how many sounds are sitting there.
Yeah.
It's a good feature to really utilize. I mean, a lot of times we'll go through it and we'll be like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Move on to the next one. Ooh, I kind of like that one. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, where's that one? Rate them as you go, please, because it will save you a lot of time. And we also have a couple questions here, Ed. I don't know if you want to go through these.
Go read them real quick. Let me see.
Okay, so I think this is a continuation from Brandon's original question about the initializing a tone, and it's always a piano when you go to switch to that first PCM sound. And he's asking, couldn't you just initialize the tone, change the waveform, and resave it as your custom starting point?
I'm going to say no on that one.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to really do that would be to actually save the tone. Yeah. Change it, save the tone, and then use that as the initialize instead of going in and trying to reinitialize something else.
Well, in my opinion, I think that's, I'm not so concerned with once I initialize a tone, what the initialized tone comes up with. It's going to come up with piano, and obviously if I'm not editing a piano, I'm going to switch it anyway. So to me, it's kind of a moot point. It's just like, it's fine.
I get that. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that you'd have to save the initialized tone as something else and then always start from there. But yeah, I'm kind of with Ed on that one. And it also depends on the engine that you start in. If you start in a PCM, it's going to be one thing. But like in the ZEN-Core, you could start in a VA, virtual analog, and that's not going to start on a piano.
Absolutely. So okay, one real quick, and we're going to get started on that. Also, everybody, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and separate by category sounds. All right, I just wanted to let everybody hear that. Here, and just real quick, let's go ahead and do a little bit of show you some of the sounds. I went through and just pulled a couple of sounds, and I did a couple of ratings just so you can kind of see. And let's go ahead and bring this in here. So bring top of my synth, and I am only using the ZEN-Core. Right now, it's on red. I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you how I'm going to set this up in the Phantom. In the Phantom right now, it's in this particular scene. Doesn't even really matter what it is right here. If I want to, I'll hit single tone, and right here, single tone, and it says set single tone. And I'm going to say, no, I just want it to just be there. Now, also in the Phantom, it's going to, usually it'll have, if it's, now Scott, what is it? If it's unselected, that means it's going to play internal and external simultaneously, correct?
Correct. And it also depends on if you're in the advanced or basic mode. Because,
yes.
So Ed's up there, the very, very top button that's above zone 1 is green. And that's an indicator he's in the advanced mode, meaning that it can be internal, red, underneath it. It can be green for external, or it can be yellow for both. So transmitting and playing internal at the same time. When it's off, it should be doing the same thing, especially in the basic mode. But yeah, it's common is what it's known as, being off.
And so if you're not sure if you're in the advanced or basic, real quick, I'll show you. We hit menu here, and we go to system, and then it's going to be in the first tab, general. If I go ahead and cursor or touch, it's going to say zone, internal, external control. If I press enter, I get the two choices of basic or advanced. I just have it in advanced, so that way I can go ahead and have the Phantom play. If I had it on basic, the Phantom would either play internal or external, but not both.
Yeah, it would do both. If it's off, it would do both. And it's basically the selector button at the very, very top, which is now red, is the one that's controlling that. So if you turned off that button, the green one, just completely turned it off, it would do both. It would play the internal sound, and it would also send MIDI. But you can only do that for one zone at a time.
Yes.
Whereas in the advanced, if you go into the advanced and do the same thing, Ed, where you change it from internal to external and then go to yellow. Yeah, so go ahead and change those to yellow. Go ahead and push them one more time. Yeah, so now they're all yellow. So now you've got a layer that's doing both. It's playing all three internal sounds from the Phantom. It's also sending MIDI out for all three zones. It's doing what I think all of us really wanted it to do, and it's a lot more control. And because of this mode, before, like turn off zones 2 and 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just turn them off, and go ahead and turn off zone 1. Right. So if you play the keyboard right now, you may hear just the one sound. But if you light like zone 4, for instance. Notice how it does that. Before, it would not do that. It would basically only play what was selected at the top. So in this advanced mode, it allows you to kind of, you don't have to worry about that much unless you're editing or changing the sound.
Yeah. So, okay, so for my example here, I have it in advanced just so you guys can see. And let me exit out of there. And I'm going to go ahead and just, I only wanted to do external. That's all I want. So I'm going to turn this one green. The reason I'm doing external is because we are showing ZEN-Core. So that's all I want the Phantom to play. So if I were to just choose a couple of these real fast, and we'll just choose a couple of just basic sounds real fast. Drop it an octave. So that's ZEN-Core. That's the ZEN-Core. That quickly and easy we have it. We can choose other things if we wanted to, maybe an upright bass. You know, have this, have that guy. Maybe we can do a super saw lead and bring this up. Very fast. So this is pretty cool. So just so to reiterate, what I'm playing here is not the internal engine. We are using ZEN-Core. Very quick in Zenology. All right, so let's get back into some of this, Scott. Okay, so right now I am going to be using the visual edit. Let's go ahead and choose some sounds. What should we choose first? Let's see. So here's these. So I can choose any of these. I'll just choose something and double click on it, and it comes up. Okay, so let me take off that Phantom so you can see everything. Now in here, if I wanted to, we can go ahead and start making some adjustments. So our cutoff, resonance, I think somebody was saying earlier they wanted to change the PCMs.
Yeah.
This is let's do this. Okay, so if I wanted to, we could go ahead and say, you know what? Let's go ahead and change the PCM. Now, check this out. In the partial, we can use PCM, virtual analog, PCM-SYNC, supersol, or noise. Notice that the waveforms that are available change according to what we choose. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So if we wanted to, since this is a PCM, we could go into here, and I just clicked on it, and these are all the waveforms that are available. Notice we have waveforms from the internal sound engines of the Zenology, the ZEN-Core, and then we also have all of the EXZs. So all of those waveforms in here. Tons of waveforms you can choose. So this is pretty cool how we can go in there. And I could just choose something. There's a drum if I wanted to, and we'll do that another one. Let's choose something else just kind of for fun. So I'm just choosing drums. I'm not even trying to choose drums. Okay, darn it. Let's go ahead and just choose a synth sound. Or let me get out of here. Let's go ahead and go. So we have some kind of accordion kind of thing with some master effects. This is pretty cool. If we wanted to, I could go ahead and change the master effects as well. So I can go ahead and here, and it just popped open right there. And let me adjust so you guys can kind of see. Let me adjust my zoom one more time. All right, so now we can see the master effects right there. And if I wanted to, I could turn this off. So pretty cool how we can go in there and we can just start off and we can choose what we're going to go ahead and edit. Either it's going to be a PCM and choose any of the waveforms, maybe a virtual analog. So we can choose right here with a nice saw or a square, sine. So we can go ahead and just choose. So right, Scott, we can go right in there and kind of start going ahead and choosing our sounds.
Yeah, it's a good. It's just, if you want to alter a current sound that's already sitting there and just shape it a little bit, or start from the ground up. And it's almost like Ed's taking you through how you would start from the ground up. I know we've had a lot of questions about sound design on FANTOM and things, and we'll definitely get to that. But this is kind of part of the same process.
Yeah, this is just, what I say is, what I always recommend is that we just we find a sound that we want to edit. We start there. That's because that's how you learn. And I basically do like a CSI of that sound. Like, okay, how can I adjust that sound? And so that's what we kind of do. Like on this one, I just chose randomly. Okay, what if I didn't like that delay? Here's my MFX down here at the bottom. I can go ahead and turn it off. Or turn it on. I can go ahead and do some editing of it. Or I could just say, what do I want to use, Scott? I can choose something else, completely different.
Use a chorus.
Yeah. It was a chorus. Yeah, let's try a chorus. Oh, let's do that CE1. So, that's an old boss.
Nice. It almost sounds like an organ now.
Yeah. Okay, we can go into there. If we wanted to also, maybe we come in and we start adjusting the different filters in here. So we can go ahead and start making adjustments here, whatever we want. Or is that LFO? I can't see. Yeah, it's LFO. I'm sorry, everybody. So here we can go ahead and start adjusting the LFOs. We can go ahead and start adjusting how the pitch reacts. All these different coarse tuning, fine tuning. So you see, we can really start digging in. And this is just on the visual edit side. The visual edit side. So I'm going to take you through now. Let's take a quick peek. Let me choose another random sound. And Scott, how are the questions coming? I know this is kind of a nerd section.
There's a bunch coming up here. So I'll see if I can catch up here. I think the last thing from Brandon was, how do you change the tone in the Jupiter, though? That's where I'm lost. I don't mind sharing, but starting with the piano PCM. So there's a couple different ways you can initialize a tone if that's what you're trying to do, and it depends on the engine you're in. If you're not sure what's going on with navigation and things, definitely check out the Jupiter X, Jupiter XM videos that we have on Roland Product Support, which is on the YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube and type in Roland Product Support, you can actually go to the playlist and find that. That might help if you're having issues with navigation. But if you just want to initialize a tone, pick the engine you want to go in, ZEN-Core or XV or whatever you're doing, and then hit the right button, WRITE, scroll down, and you'll see tone initialize. Hit enter, and then it will initialize that tone and give you a starting point.
Okay, and just so everybody's clear, if you're new, this is the channel. I don't want to go too much into the specifics of the hardware keyboards, just because we're trying to stick with the software. But if you what's your name? Like Scott just said,
What's my name?
What's your name? You can go to Roland Product Support and you can hit playlist in here, and this is where you can find all the different instruments. And we have a playlist. And on the Jupiter X, for example, there's a playlist of 21 videos to get you going. And that's going to teach you a lot. These are a lot of good things in here to get you going. So definitely go there. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when we put up new content. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of see that there. Let's go ahead, since they bringing up the Jupiter, let's go ahead and show some models.
Okay.
Let's show some of the models. So we're choosing all the ZEN-Core stuff here, but don't forget we have some of the models here as well. So this is pretty cool. If I just choose Jupiter 8 and I just choose, let me go ahead and do that. Sorry, everybody. So I was over here, and this is ZEN-Core, but then we see where it says EXM, and it says Jupiter 8. I'll go ahead and just choose something. Let me see, choose something. Okay, there it is, and there it is right there. So we get a nice visual representation of the Jupiter 8 model right here. So this is really cool. Very easy to do. There's something I want to show with you. So if you have these models, and Scott will tell you as well, notice Juno 106, a different skin.
Yep.
Let's go to another one, JX8P. Different skin, slightly different options, because we're really focused on those synth models that the Roland had, the vintage synth models. Let's do one more that's available, and that is the SH101. So notice they all have the correct skin for that particular vintage synth, and then they also have different options.
With this one just looks like it's black and white, but that is correct. I mean, the first SH101 was gray with white and black accents, I guess. So that nails it, And then the JX8P, the screen was more that blue color, almost that. So it kind of has that same, green blue in the screen. So I see why they did it, and I think it's cool. But one of the things that we were discussing today was the appearance, right? The graphics. How would you like it to look? When we brought up the Jupiter 8 Legendary model or whatever, it looks awesome, but you really have to blow it up to see what's going on. And because of that, looking at the way that they've done the Zenology graphics here, it is so much more pleasing to the eye to be able to see what's on the screen and what you're editing. I love looking at the other graphics that it looks like a Jupiter 8 or it looks like a 106, but this just makes more sense to me. And what do you think, Ed? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts is although I do love the beautiful look of the actual old keyboards on there, I'd rather just see this. I'd rather just see this right here, so I can really get into it. I want to answer a couple of questions, and I know this is just a tough one. We're getting a lot of
questions,
all over the place. So this is a tough one. Squirrel. Yeah, no, I'm trying. Let's see here. There's one that says here. Stop moving. Okay, it says Rahendra Music. I'm sorry if I murdered your name. He says, is it possible to export individual tone of an expansion to pen drive or USB drive? I'm assuming that would mean. And yes, you guys are jumping ahead, but I guess we're gonna jump ahead in a second. Okay. Another one says, can the Phantoms load plug out synth? The answer is no. No,
Yeah.
but the System 8 does. The System 8 does.
But
and
it
I
only
believe-
does specific models, right?
Yeah, it only does
You can't just
specific
put
models.
anything in there, yeah.
Yeah, but so the Phantom does not plug out synths, but it does ZEN-Core ZENOLOGY Pro, which is even more sounds. So that's cool. Douglas Carmichael, he says, can you get the classic Jupiter 8 brass and lead sounds on Zenology? Like, absolutely. There's over 3,500 sounds, and then also if you want to go ahead and pay for this Jupiter 8 model expansion, yes, absolutely. And one thing Scott and I were kind of looking at, if you go to the Jupiter 8, this particular model, if you look at the ones that are in all caps, these are actually the original sounds, right, Scott? Those
anything that's in full capital letters is the original sounds. And if you own a Jupiter X or Jupiter XM, you'll see the exact same things in those models. So the Jupiter 8, the Juno 106, the JX8P.
Yeah, these are the original sounds. So those are in there. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and answer some more questions. Sorry, Scott. Let's see. Let's see here. Yep, and I am running 1080 on the monitor here. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll figure that out. Okay, let's see. Man, you guys are all over the place today. Man, golly. We should do, I'm thinking Cloud Scott and the Clouds. We might have to do in the near future, because we already have the shows for October. We might have to do just one on a Zenology Pro, just on like specific models of like just the Jupiter 8 one, or just this, or just one just for Axe Edge, because from judging the questions, and it's all over the place. You guys are asking a lot of great questions.
And there's a good question sitting in here. I have to look to see where it is, but it was basically like, can you use like multiple parts for Zenology? So in other words, like how you would stack a scene in the Phantom, or how you would create a scene in the Jupiter X, or can you do that? And it's like the first thought I had was, well, if you're in a computer and you're living in the box or using the box, is just use multiple instances of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me answer this question. I just see this question that Andre just asked, I think, on Facebook. Andre just asked, and let me switch over so I can be more personal. Now, Andre just asked, he says, it is still very difficult for me to trust on software for live performances. Ed, how do you feel about it? So do I trust a computer for live performances? And I'm at a yes and no, and Scott will tell you this, because back before the pandemic, I was on some of the gigs that I was doing, I was planning on just going completely software, but then I chickened out at the last minute. You remember? I was going to use Mainstays and Zenology Pro and just have it split and layered, and just use the A Pro 500 and the A Pro 800. Just like that, but then I kind of chickened out, like Andre's saying. But I've been seeing a lot of people that I respect that is out there gigging that go either hybrid, which means hardware and software. And I've seen a lot of church guys, and also Mark Watson in Australia, our brother in Australia. I know when he does gigs, he'll go a lot of times, depending on the gig, completely software. And now with Zenology Pro, it gets me excited. It's like, oh, if it's a gig where I don't want to take my Phantom or a Jupiter X, I can cover it with a couple of controllers. So how do I trust it? It depends on your computer. If I have a stable computer that's a stable platform, and I have a nice audio interface that I can route out, to the band, and then have a control room out for myself, I don't see a problem with it in there. But here's the great thing about Zenology Pro. I could preset all of these different tones and get them all set. Right, Scott? I can get them set in Zenology Pro, or even the Phantom or the Jupiter X or the Axe Edge. I can get them set, and then I could determine what if I want to go hardware, I just dump those sounds to that ZEN-Core compatible engine.
Well, what's cool is that you can have copies of both, especially if you're working in both. So you can have ZEN-Core, all your ZEN-Core sounds from the
Whoops.
Phantom sitting there that you can just import in quickly to another Phantom if you had to, or if you're traveling, or use them right off the computer. Or your flexibility starts to get really, really cool. You don't just you're not stuck with one thing. You can work in several different ways. I'm digging that.
Okay, so let me show you guys this here. I want to show you what happens. You guys, everybody's asking for this. Let's say I take a sound and, I forgot to mention this. You can search sounds. So if you guys that know me, know that I have some guilty pleasures with certain sounds. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Oh, where's my, because I'm in that one bank. Okay, so I can just go into here and I could type my sound, and West Coast. I just love this sound. So I just loaded up this sound. I've always loved this sound. It's a guilty pleasure. Okay, so I have this sound, and say I did some tweaks to it. Watch this, everybody. If I want to, I can go ahead and press right, and look at this. This is what Scott and I were talking about earlier today. It says, share it to a bank. I can press right, and it's like, there's no user banks. Where are the banks? Watch this, everybody. I can press new, and now I have a user bank. How big is the user bank? 128 users. Oh, that's it? Watch this, everybody. This is cool.
Add bank.
Add banks. Look at all these users I can add. I can add all these users. This is something I want to... And look, I can keep going. I can just be a silly person. Just keep on going. Okay, now watch this. So I'll go to initial and that first one, and I can call this... I can make a custom bank, and I can call this Ed Faves. And I can say, all right, cool. That's that bank, and I can write it, and now it's in that bank. Okay, now watch this. I can say, all right, to this one, I could call this one Axe Edge. And I can say, I want to have that sound also in this bank. So save it to there. So now I have that sound there. Or maybe I want to say, you know what, let's go ahead. I want to make sure my Jupiter X doesn't have this sound. I can come to here and say, you know what, Jupiter X. And I was like, let me put that sound over here. So look what's happening, everybody. This is cool. In this bank, I can have it there. I can have it in Axe Edge. Look, now it's there. I can have it over here in just my overall Ed Faves. I could set up all these different things. One bank can be, if I'm going Axe Edge, can be exclusively leads. I could go ahead and make all my customs pads. So cool. And then watch this. This is really cool. This is using the ZEN-Core engine. So this means everything. And let me delete some of these. Everything that is compatible with ZEN-Core. Look at this. These are all potential banks. You can. And what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some exporting and importing into the Phantom just so you guys can see. So I can go ahead and make my own user banks by, maybe the particular instrument I want to use. So like Scott, I could say, I'm doing such and such gig, or really to Andre. I could go ahead and say, you know what, I have all my key sounds, and I'm going to be using a Phantom. I could say, okay, let's go ahead and take these sounds. Let's go choose a couple first. How about this? We'll choose a couple first, Scott. I'm going to go back into here, and let me get rid of West Coast. So let me get out of there. I got it on all categories, and I can look up, okay, I love a poly saw, and let's see, hopefully I don't mess it up, because I do that stuff, Look, I messed it up again. Okay, there it is, polysaws. So I can come into here and say, look, here's all the ones that are saws. And so I can say, okay, there's that one. I just chose it. Okay, if I want to save that to someplace else, I can say, let's save it there to Ed's Faves. Make sure I don't overwrite West Coast. Great. So that's cool. So it's saved. Let's exit. Let's go ahead back into Zenology, and this time let's look up like a brass. So I'll just do general brass if I wanted to. Let's see if do I have any saved. I don't have any saved right now. I'll go ahead and pick a pop brass. Let's go ahead. Of course. Okay. Okay, I have that brass. Let's write it again. And I want to show you guys. This is cool. Ed faves. Make sure I don't overwrite anything. Let's go ahead, okay, and write it. Okay, great. So let's take those 3 sounds, all right? Let's take those 3 sounds, everybody, and it's like, all right, I don't want to take the computer. I have these 3 sounds. Let's pretend I did some editing. Okay, now I want to export. Well, before I export, I'm going to take out my thumb drive from the Phantom, and I'm going to plug it into my computer. So give me a second. Scott, talk real quick.
Talk.
Okay. So thank you, Scott. Yeah. So now I have my USB thumb drive, and I will bring it up so you guys can see in a second. Let me see. Okay. All right. I have my USB thumb drive here, and I formatted it so that way it's just fresh so you guys can see. All I have to do is I have to select the bank I want to export. So that's one right there. Those are the 3 sounds. I hit export. Now it asks me, oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Let's do that again. So all I have to do is select the bank I want to export. And that's the one. There's three tones.
Yeah, and you can also export the individual tone. You don't have to necessarily export the bank.
Yeah, if I wanted to, but I'll just do the bank. It's fine. Because then I can choose them when it's coming into the Phantom, and you'll see.
Good point.
Yeah, I can go ahead and say export, and it's for plugin. If it's for plugin, that means I could share those sounds with somebody else, you know? So Douglas Carmichael, can you exchange sounds from the 707 to a Zenology? Yeah, absolutely. if it is using the ZEN-Core engine, absolutely. Now this is for hardware. Now which Phantom is hardware? So I'm going to press for hardware, and if we look, it's saying, hey, where you want to put it? It's put it in my Phantom, and it's putting it into the Roland sound folder. This is very important. So I'll go ahead and hit save. It is saving that right into there. And now if we take a look right here into my sound folder, there it is. All right, now let me eject this. This is for me, this is something that is super duper strong on the Zenology. So now I'll go ahead. Okay, place your bets. Can I plug it in first time without messing it up?
No.
All right. No. Oh, wait. Oh, strike one. Oh, wait.
It's always upside down. Yep.
Wait. Okay, one strike. All right, cool. So now I just plugged in that USB thumb drive right into here. Now all I have to do, I don't know what Gabe said. Gabe said just read. Okay. Anyway, so all right. So now if I want to, all I have to do, I plugged it in. I press menu on my Phantom, and this goes for many of the other products, and we're gonna have to do videos showing how to do this with all the ZEN-Core compatible products. But all I have to do now is I just go to utility, I go to import and import tone. So press enter, or I could just press it right there. And okay, so now it's looking inside this thumb drive that's over here, and it's in the Roland side. It's in where it says sound, and looky, it's faves. So I can go ahead and press select or enter, whatever, select, and there are those 3 tones. Obviously, I didn't do any editing to these, but there they are. And if I want to, I can go ahead and select what goes in. So now if I wanted to, I can select them all, hit next, and look, it's telling me where it's going to put it inside the keyboard, where in the user section. So all I do is do execute, and it started at 710 right here. And here we go, completed. So now let's go ahead and just take a quick peek. So great, I'm going to hit single tone. Great, and make sure my Phantom's set for just internal. All right, great. And hold on, everybody. Boom, boom. Okay, great. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to hit user, hit it again so I can pop it open, and I'm going to scroll through it right here. So I'm I think it was 710, right, Scott? Oh, I think I passed it. Look how fast. There's so many pages.
Yeah,
so,
move.
Move.
We got a lot of questions sitting here, too.
Okay, I know, everybody. We're trying. We're going to have to probably do another one. Okay, good. So check it out. Right there. There it is. West Coast. Right there. And I realize that's already in the Phantom. I realize that. But my point is how quick we were able to go ahead and take those sounds out of Zenology Pro, throw them to a specific bank in here, a specific bank that you can create, and then export it out into a USB thumb drive or pen drive, I guess some people call it, or to for a plugin. You can export it out, and it exports it out. I believe it was some type of bin file, if I remember correctly. So that's cool. Now, someone just asked me, and I know we're getting to questions. Let's go ahead and go back to the FANTOM real fast, and let's take this sound. Let's take this sound right here, and let's do a quick edit of it. Okay, I just messed it up. I'm not even concerned. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write the sound, and I'm going to write it as a tone, and I'm going fast, but don't worry, we'll get some more. We'll do some more, and I don't want to write over the original. Okay, 715. Okay, so on this particular tone, I got it. Now I'm going to go back to menu. I'm going to go to utility, and we're going to export this tone. Export, and I think that one was, what, 715 we said, Scott? And I'll hold down shift so I can jump. A little bit too fast.
715 or 710?
There it is.
10, yeah.
Got
Which
it?
one?
It was 715. Okay, and then, here we go. And then, boom, there it is. And let's execute. It's going to put it to the sound.
There it is.
Export. All right, now I'm going to take it out of the FANTOM and plug it back into the computer, and we're going to bring it into Zenology Pro. Check this out.
So again, think, guys, right now, when have you in the past been able to do this so easily between hardware and software, to be able to move things around, edit it over in software, edit it in hardware, move it to software, move it to hardware? I mean, think about it for a second. Just think about how awesome that is, that it's like, oh, you know, I don't want to work on the keyboard right now. I'd rather work at my desk, so I'll just pop everything out and move it over. And then, okay, I'm done at my desk. I'll pop it over and bring it over to the keyboard. I don't know. It's just something that's I'm seeing a huge value in. And I'm guessing that you guys are probably starting to see that too, if you haven't already. That just the value that you have with being able to move things around to the other products, or be able to work on them in different environments, directly in the hardware, directly in the software.
Absolutely, and this makes it so that way, you know, like Scott's just saying, if you can't always take your big hardware synths with you when you're working or you're on vacation, but you could probably take a little MIDI controller, maybe a Pro 300, and take that with you, and you can go ahead and do some editing, and then when you get home, dump it into your hardware synths. So check this out. Here's what we did here. Bye, Scott. Okay, so let's pretend. Let's start here. I'll just go ahead and press right. Right gets us into this screen. And I want to go ahead now and do an import. So we're importing from the FANTOM using ZEN-Core. And so I'll press import. And once again, it's FANTOM. Go into the Roland folder here. Go into the sound folder. And there it is. That was the export tone. If I go into here, there it is. That's the one that we have. Boom, right there. So I can go ahead and bring that one in. So that is pretty cool that we have that in there. So pretty neat. Let me see. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, did I almost write over it? Oh no. So it was squirrel. Give it a wiggle. Go too fast. So yeah, we can go ahead into this tone. Let me go ahead and import it again. And there it is. It's because it's living on the thumb drive right now. There it is. Import tone. So it's imported. Okay, it's imported. Don't touch it. So now when we go back to choose the sound, check this out. There's the tone, export tone to. Oops. Let me get rid of where it says brass. And there it is. Double click. And that's it. That's pretty cool. And if I wanted to, I don't want it to always live there. I can press the right button, and I can say, oh, let me throw it back into here with Ed's Faves, choose a free spot, and now I've written it in to any of the banks I want. Oh, I want to use that in the Axe Edge. Cool. Let's go ahead and put it there. So
I had an
that's cool.
interesting question. I haven't tried this, so it may not work. And if it doesn't, I totally get it, and it's fine. But can you reorganize that list that you were just in, where you're looking at all of your patches or tones? Can you move them around at all and reorganize them by grabbing them?
That's a good question. Let's just grab. Let's move this here. Let's move that there. Yeah.
That becomes a whole nother level of things. So if you've got a bunch of patches and you want them in a specific order to pull them up, or just the bank knowing that, hey, my favorite sounds are going to be the first 10, the rest will be whatever. Yes, thank you. That's awesome.
Let's do this. And I'm sorry, everybody. We're trying to get to questions. You guys know I'm over here. Okay, I'm gonna
squirrel.
No, but this is good squirrels. So this is good squirrel. I'm gonna take that thumb drive, put it back into the Phantom. Okay, first try. Survey says, come on, big money. Yes. Okay, cool. So I have that back in there, and let's do what Scott was just saying. So let's say I wanted to go in here and utility. I'm gonna export tones, and let's just grab a bunch of tones. I can say, all right, let's grab a bunch of tones. Okay, and grab some more. Grab a bunch of tones. Don't even care. And what we're going to do, because I know a lot of us have done this, and you're just like, I don't like where these live. I wish I had them in different spots, and I can arrange them. Well, I'm going to bring out these tones, and I'm going to execute, overwrite that one. Doesn't matter to me, because that's just for a way for me to bring it in there. Okay, now I'm going to take out my thumb drive, and I'm going to put it into the computer real fast. Okay, I'm back in Zenology, and I'm going to import. Watch this, everybody. This is cool. So, export. There's all those tones. Now, Scott, what were you saying? It's like, can you go ahead and put them,
rearrange them, start moving them around, put them in a different order?
Let's try. This one's a different one because I'm just doing it right from there. Can I do it from here? Yes, I can. Look, I can do it even from here. Okay, so cool. But these are all just living on that particular thumb drive right now. But I can arrange them in here. But probably what I would do is I would go ahead. Can I drag and drop them? I can't drag them and drop them into there. But what I would have to do is come back into here, and I would have to select them and write them into those banks, which could probably take a little bit of time. I could say, okay, I would go into here, select it, press right, and say, all right, axe edge, let's write it to there. Cool. Good. And let's exit out of there, and let's do another one. So this might take a little bit of time, but this is like, for me, back when we're on the road someday, this is kind of like something for me to do while I have the TV on in the background. I can go ahead and just take my sounds and reorganize them and put them anywhere I want, any of my custom banks, and then go in there and organize them. Just like, okay, I want you here, I want this there. And after I do it, they actually will now live in that bank. Real nice and easy. All right, let's go ahead and try some questions. I know. I feel like Scott. Oh, here, let me bring Scott. Where's Scott? I feel like that on.
I am here.
I feel like
that's creepy.
That is creepy. I feel like in here that we could go ahead and we'll probably need to cover this again because there's a bunch of stuff that we're not covering in this amount of time.
Well, there's a couple things that I'm seeing here. I feel like we almost need to do a SYNTH Talk that is just Q&A because there's so many questions to go through. But I do agree with you too. There's more of this Zenology to go through and to get deeper, and that we're probably gonna have to do it again or do a deep session. Yeah,
of Zenology. Look, fix that, Gabe. No, anyway, no, it's all good. I don't think Gabe can fix it. So yeah. Nice. Look, don't doubt our producer in the background.
I am huge.
They are huge. I took that picture, by the way, everybody. Boom. Yep. So anyway, all right. So let's see. Let's go through some questions or comments. I just feel like there's so much, and we're going to have to do this again. Okay. Yeah. I think Scott and I will figure out for November what we're going to talk about and then maybe we can talk about Zenology Pro as it applies to Axe Edge, if you guys would like that. Maybe a Zenology Pro as it applies to the Jupiter X XM. Maybe one was just completely just Phantom. Or maybe with the MC101 707, maybe we can get Daniel Lee on here and we can talk about how it applies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be fun.
Or we go through categories. So like the first 25 minutes or whatever is Phantom, the next is Jupiter, the next is Zenology, and just go through them in chunks. I mean, you guys tell us what you think. What are you looking for? But I really feel that there's so many questions we just need to do a sit down.
Yeah, and then it is cool. The Zenology Pro gives us so many options with, we could just work solely in Zenology Pro if you wanted to, but then having it where it's compatible with various Roland hardware synths, such as the Phantom, MC101, 707, RD88, Axe Edge, Jupiter X, Jupiter X. There's a lot of meat to there. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think and tell us in the comments, because like I said, we're here for you. We are part of Roland. Roland is here for you. We can't thank you enough. So help us support you and figure out. But I think that's what we're going to have to do. So we'll figure out. We're going to do maybe another Zenology Pro where it's only Phantom, everybody, and then we're going to do another Zenology Pro where it's only Axe Edge. Oh look, John Sweeney says 24-hour marathon session.
We can do it. We can do it.
Only if John Sweeney's on that session. How about that, John Sweeney? So yeah. That would be cool. And the great thing is we have some great product specialists throughout the world that we could probably do that. Look, Andre's like, yay! So you guys be careful what you ask for, because our boss will be like, yeah, go ahead and do it.
You told him. Yeah. You're done.
You told him. You do. Look, John Sweeney's like, cool. All right, you guys are crazy. All right, so let's do that. So once again, I wanted to go deeper on Zenology Pro, but I felt like this was just a great way to kind of get you guys to kind of know about it and learn a little bit about it.
And again, if you don't have a Roland account, you can sign up. You can have a free account. Doesn't cost you anything. It gets you into it, and you start to see what's there and what's available. Kind of look at it, see what's going to work for you and what doesn't, or however you want to do it. But I think you get the ultimate plan for 30 days free, so that gives you access to everything, and you can just bounce around and check it out. But I think with editing for certain things, like some of the Jupiter X XM, if you're in the Zenology side, or especially the Axe Edge, just the editing capabilities alone of the visual is going to be a refreshing view, and probably a little bit easier to go through.
Yep. Okay. Here's a couple quick questions. Let's see. It says XP50 player. What's up, bro? He says, how does the drift in the models compare to the analog fill in the regular ZEN-Core engine? I guess it's totally up to how you set it, because I think and we'll show this real quick. It completely depends on you. If we were to go into the model expansion of, whoops, I don't want right there. We go into the model expansion of. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm over here. Look, Scott. Ed's like, bring it down. Here we go. Look, there's so many sounds that you get kind of crazy. All right, so if I were to go into the Jupiter 8, and let's just choose, doesn't even really matter. If right here we have the condition. We have condition.
Yep.
That's the big one, and then we have here, get out of there. We have the pitch drift. So it's going to behave very well. It's going to behave very well.
And you also have to remember, even if you had a 5-year-old, let's say, hypothetically, a 5-year-old Jupiter 8 and another 5-year-old Jupiter 8, they're going to sound different. Analog is analog. There's going to be some slight variances between them. So that's also something to keep in mind. If you're trying to dial in a specific sound or a specific pleasing tone that you remember when playing like a Jupiter 8 or whatever, then just keep playing with it and mess with it. But again, that's the beauty with analog, is that it's like wood or stone. Each one's a little bit different, even if it came from the same tree.
And don't forget, these also are writable, and you can save them to their own bank. So I could have a Jupiter X bank, and I could go ahead and write that there. So even if you do that and you're like, okay, I want to go back. Where's that sound? You could have it in its own bank and pull it back up to do some editing. Here, there it goes. Do some editing on it. So that's something real cool. Look, I forgot where I put it. I just need to bring it down. Okay, so and here's that one more thing, and we're gonna go over this next time, I think. Here's something that's also cool. Now, currently the FANTOM does not doesn't bring in these models. Okay, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future, but you never know. Everything's up in the air. It's kind of fun. It's not a fun time, but for here at us on the synth side, it's a very
fun time.
It's a very interesting time because there's a lot of things happening in the world that aren't fun. But for us here, it's really cool. So check this out. If we were to go to here, all of these models work in the Jupiter X and XM. So everybody asking for, I wish there was a software for the Jupiter X and XM. Right. Yes, there is. This is also, you can use this to edit the Jupiter X and XM models.
Absolutely. But the other thing too, I mean, I like the interface of the Jupiter X a lot, and the Jupiter, I like having the controls right there. But when it gets into the ZEN-Core side of it, because it's PCM, because you're going into it with the partials and everything else going on, the controls that are on the surface of the Jupiters could be a little bit confusing to what you're doing until you kind of get it under your head wrapped around it. This, to me, is the right blend between, I may want to shape the sound of the Jupiter, or the 106, or the SH-101 on the surface of the Jupiter X or the XM, but when I get into the ZEN-Core, I'll probably want to be in Zenology and be able to look at graphics that look just like this, even though it's the SH-101.
Absolutely. So, all right, we're going to probably go ahead and let me bring myself. Yay! Scott! Okay,
I am here.
So, a couple questions. I think DJ Mechanicom, he says, are there any new models being released for the XM? I'm not sure.
There's always something going on, and
always.
It's like even if they have something that's got some sort of a roadmap or whatever, we don't necessarily find out till we're right there, or if they're still testing things. So we just don't know. But here's the great thing about Roland: we're constantly adding and improving. So I mean, the FANTOM had a huge update. The X and XM had an update to be able to work with the Zenology and the import and the export. It's always growing. So just keep watching, and as soon as we know that we can officially share things, as we find out, you'll know.
You'll know. And then, like I said, this year has been great for us because we are able to go ahead and talk to our other compadres, our other coworkers from all over the world, and in a real time fashion, which is I love it. So that's something that's I just love on there that we can do that. Yeah. So okay, we're gonna go ahead and cut this one, but before we do, next week we're gonna take a break from ZENOLOGY Pro. Next week we are going to do sounds for Halloween. Yeah.
And we need to figure out something because, it's like a hashtag or something like that, because we want to get you guys involved too. What are some of the scary sounds or the things that you come up with on your Roland products, that we can all, maybe we could set that up for the 30th.
Oh,
the very last one, we'll figure out something for you guys.
Yeah. And I was thinking, Scott, you guys, here's the way, if you wanted to, you can go on the Facebook or YouTube, and you could tag, hashtag Roland, hashtag maybe scary. Let's see, what's a good hashtag, everybody? Scary sounds? Hashtag Roland, hashtag scary sounds, so we can look you up. And let's see what you come up with. What kind of scenes and tones you come up with that are just really, and this is all for fun, in there. And then also maybe
it could totally be an 80s, a 70s, or an 80s horror film that the score, because it's like a lot of analog synths were used back then, or Absolutely. It could be something that is a newer orchestra creepy thing. I mean, a lot of times it's the way that you chord things or voice things, but yeah, what you come up with, what What would you do? Because we'd love to feature you guys. We want to get you guys more into Synth Talk and what's going on. And I think this might be a really cool way to do it.
Well, and if okay, maybe we can and we'll talk about it with our management to make sure we follow the copyright rules. So here's the thing:
no copyright stuff. It has to be original.
It has to be original. It can be in the vein of something,
right?
But if you play the theme from the movie Halloween, okay, we'll get tagged on that in there. So let's think about that. Hashtag Roland, hashtag spooky sounds, and then maybe we can go ahead on the 30th. We can show some of your creations, and then, but on this next week, we're going to show the ones that we kind of put together, and I can throw them in Zenology Pro and possibly share them with you guys. That could be fun.
Yeah.
And,
hashtag. Is that what we're going to settle on? Hashtag spooky sounds, not scary. Spooky. I think spooky is probably better.
Spooky. What do y'all guys say? I think spooky. Spooky. Okay, that doesn't offend anybody? Are we good? Okay, just got to make sure. Okay, hashtag.
Yeah. You got those ghosts out there that might not like to be called that.
No, careful. So let's do hashtag spooky sounds, and then hashtag Roland, so we can find it on YouTube and also on Facebook, and just let us know, and then maybe as we can share some of your YouTube stuff. Yeah. Okay, Gene, our man Gene, our lawyer in waiting, he says hashtag spooky. Yeah. So hashtag Roland, hashtag spooky. Shout out to Gene. Simple, right? Simple. So that's it. We'll do what? Let's see. What does our boss say, Dwayne? He's like, oh, you guys. So hashtag Roland, hashtag spooky. Let's go ahead and show some really cool sounds. Do it on Facebook. Do it on YouTube so we can find it. You guys can go ahead and put it in the Roland groups, and maybe on the 30th we can just really show off your creations. And if you have a video, as long as it's not copywritten, maybe we can throw it here on the show so you can give you guys a little bit of love.
Yeah.
All right. So November, we're going to talk more about Zenology. We're going to break it off into Phantom, Axe Edge, and also Jupiters and other stuff. So this is Ed and Scott from the cloud.
Awesome. Yes, I am here. Yes, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Sorry for the little bit of difficulties, but hey, I'm here. We were able to go back and forth. I hope you guys really enjoyed going over the Zenology Pro and some new stuff, and we'll go back and we'll look at some of your questions and things. I know we couldn't get to everything, but we'll go through it and answer what we can online.
Oh, someone just said, yeah, hashtag Roland, hashtag Synth Talk, hashtag spooky. Whatever. Figure it out. All right, you guys take care. Wear your mask, be nice to each other, and we will talk to you next week when we're going to demo a bunch of just kind of creepy sounds. All right, take care. Talk to you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.